E236 is a 242 tank locomotive that formerly ran on the Victorian Railways of Australia. The locomotive was built as E506 in 1893 by the Melbourne Locomotive and Engineering Works of South Melbourne as one of 70 E-class suburban tank locomotives. The design of these locos dated back to 1888, when the prototype, E426 Tasmania, was built by Kitsons of Leeds of England to a design by Edward Alexander Jeffreys, and was displayed at the Melbourne Royal Exhibitions Building alongside the prototype for the Y-Class 060. E506 was brought into service and, much like her siblings, served as motive power for Melbourne's suburban railway network alongside the M, DDE, and Y classes. The engines would serve the network until 1919, when it was electrified. As a result, between 1919 and 1923, 20 were converted from 242Ts to 062Ts to the EE class design, which dated back to 1893, while another 25 were withdrawn. Of the latter group, 20 of them were sold to South Australia Railways to become their second M-class in 1920. They would run from 1920 until retirements began in 1925, until the last examples were withdrawn in 1935. All of them were scrapped. An additional 18 were withdrawn in 1924. E506 was retired from passenger service in 1920, having clocked up a distance of over 1 million kilometers in its first 27 years of life. It was spared from any form of conversion and was retained by the Victorian Railways and renumbered to 236. The locomotive would work as a shunter at Newport workshops from 1923, wearing an all-black livery. It was also the only E-Class 242 to remain in VR service, and by 1935, with the scrapping of the M-Class in South Australia, became the sole surviving one in general. She would spend the remainder of her working life as a shunter until 1953, when she was finally withdrawn. After her retirement, 236 would be cosmetically restored to its original Brunswick green livery and was displayed alongside T94, 1101, and an AEC rail motor at Spencer Street Station from the 11th to 25th of September 1954 for the VR cavalcade. After the celebrations were concluded, 236 was moved to Newport for storage for the next decade. During that time, its whistle it wore at the exhibition was removed, and its whereabouts are currently unknown, although I feel it might have been scrapped. 236 was later moved to the Newport Railway Museum in 1961, where it currently resides there today as a static display, and my personal favorite locomotive.